Hey everybody, it is the 78th podcast here at the TFT. I'm Zach, makeshift host now. So far we have with us today on this wonderful podcast, Chaos Mana.
Hey!
Low Zelda.
Hello!
Wubwave.
Hey!
New guest, Lucas III.
Shamai!
And returning guest, Mr. Wartburg.
Hello.
Alrighty. Now, I wanted to talk about Destiny, and I'm not sure about what everybody else wanted to do, so fuck you guys.
We'll start with Destiny.
Okay, so my initial response to Destiny was, a little tilted to bias for Destiny, but I've gotten a more neutral opinion about it, and I still think it's a great game. It's really just dependent upon what kind of gamer you are. If you enjoy complex battling and
Comcast,
exactly.
If you enjoy Comcast,
if you enjoy Comcast, you'll love Destiny. Sponsored by Comcast.
Pretty much just sounds like if you enjoy getting fucked in the ass, Destiny's a great game.
which actually it might actually be true considering the loot system.
Yeah.
That
Okay.
Cryptarch.
The Cryptarch's gotten better since the patches they've enabled, and the loot system's a little better now. It's just little kinks they're working out, because this is Bungie's first, RPG MMO-based, or aspect game for the console, so it's not exactly smooth sailing for loot-wise, but the loot still is very attractive for a gamer. It just explodes, and you're like, oh, it's so beautiful, I want more, and you just become a loot whore for the rest of your life, or you decide to go into the Crucible, have some fun there. If you're very, if you're seeking a more multiplayer experience and only wanting to play the Crucible, that's a great experience for those kinds of gamers. The more casual gamers will find the story kind of lackluster, but still enjoyable because there are a lot of familiar voices. Nathan Fillion being one of them. Peter Dinklage. I could go on and on. There are 3 or 4 cast members from Farscape, a few from Firefly, and then there's some stuff even from the Game of Thrones, being Peter Dinklage and all that fun stuff. But for the people that aren't the filthy casuals are going to find a great challenge in the combat and the raid itself, which is fucking phenomenal. I finished it twice, once last week, and then once this week.
Wait, how many raids are there? Is it just
so far,
the raid?
Yeah, so far it's only Vault of Glass, the raid, so it's only one so far, but once the DLC comes out, I think there will be 3 more or 2 more coming out.
Are you going to pay for
I love how we have to say, once the DLC comes out, the game will be better. That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's not better. The game's still going to be great, it's just there's going to be more raids and more variety.
The game is still good. This is
it's not a damnation of Destiny, more of a damnation of where we're at as gamers right now.
Yeah.
Where the DLC is the good stuff.
The game is still good now, and this game is still great to play. I mean, it's a great example where you got all these complaints about the story and the Cryptarch and everything, but at the same time, I haven't stopped playing this game this month. For all of September, I have not put the game down. I haven't used my Xbox One for anything else. I picked up Shadow of Mordor last week, and I played that for 6 hours, and I was like, alright, time to back off my Destiny, because I need to get some stuff. Get some stuff done.
Exactly. There's a lot of, addictive properties to Destiny. It's awesome. And it's, they have a little something for everybody. If you have 6 friends you really love playing video games with, you can, work your asses off, get to that 26, and then head on to the raid. Or if you're more like, you know what, I hate fucking story, I hate doing raids, I'm all about the multiplayer. You've got a fucking multiplayer zone just for you. I mean, are there some fixes that need to be made to the multiplayer? Yes. There's some rebalancing with the shotgun, the heavy ammo spawns, and the rocket launchers, yeah. But,
This podcast brought to you by Bungie. Pick up Destiny now at GameStop. And get your internet connections for Destiny through Comcast.
Comcast, yeah. Because I've never been fucked by Comcast. Wink.
I'm currently being fucked by BT, which is a UK provider. They're basically...
Well, we don't give a fuck about you and your
Whoa!
nonsense.
Stop the bullying, jeez.
You should warn me to stay away from that conversation. I'm going to try to, under his direct order.
Well,
or advisement,
yeah,
I should
I
say.
want to talk about that maybe towards the end before we wrap up, just because obviously it's been explained to Madness, but just a kind of a brief
Ad
summary
nauseum,
for the people that like me, that it was like, what's this going on over here? Okay, it's over now.
Yeah.
But until then, speaking of Destiny, Borderlands 2, the pre-sequel is coming out in 1 week. Or 6 days.
Yeah, I can definitely tell you're
super
counting down the days.
6 days.
6 days, man.
I will
6
sadly not
days.
be doing it.
Why? What's wrong with you?
The main person I was going to play with is Xbox 360 broke, and I'm not playing it by myself.
Why?
I was-
It's not actually, they're actually expanding the story for pre-sequel and actually making it a better single-player experience.
Yeah. That might be appealing to me. I don't know. I like Borderlands-ish. Not as... I don't know. It could have been the art style that threw me off.
What?
It could have been just...
That's what makes me like the game. It's just the pleasant...
A lot of people just don't like the cell shading. I mean, that's pretty
I
much
like
all the
cell
game
shading.
is.
It's
just a
there's
cell shading filter.
something about it that doesn't really... I don't know. Just as a game... I don't know. There's a lot of aspects to the game that just kind of... I mean, even though you can say that Destiny may have drawn quite a bit of its...
Yes.
It does have a
I'm
way
trying to
different
think,
tone.
Zach.
Yeah, they're two different tones, but they drew a lot of fucking...
Gameplay stuff from it.
Yeah, they drew a lot of... influence. There we go. Jesus Christ. Influence. They drew a lot of influence from Borderlands. You can tell by the chests and the loot and, a lot of stuff like that. But there's just something about Borderlands I couldn't get hooked into.
So
Like,
if
it
you
didn't
had a
play-
mod which took away cell shading, would you have enjoyed
That
it?
would be horrible. No.
No, I
That'd be
don't
horrible,
think I would
no.
enjoy it. No, I still... I think it has to do... It has to do with mechanics.
Did you play Borderlands 1 or Borderlands 2?
I played Borderlands... the first one.
Yeah, the first one was okay, but it was just sort of like,
I
Like,
love
it had some quirk to it, like in
Yeah.
the main game. They were like, oh, this boss is a reference to Godzilla. Oh, so funny. But then in, like, the DLCs for the first game, they just, like, ramped up the craziness and then
Yeah,
sort of found their
their
niche
voice, yeah.
for the second. And then the second game was just, like, walls all around.
Yeah, no, the second game is really enjoyable when you're playing with 4 people or a full party, and a lot of all the jokes and the story and the quips is fucking phenomenal.
Yeah,
I
the
don't
story
know.
is great. I played through the Borderlands 2 single player 3 times. So I kind of a fan of
Elon
it.
says, so Borderlands created chests and loot, according to you?
Yes, they did.
Not
Thank you,
God,
Thank you, Gearbox. You made
Elon. I was saying they were drawing some experience or some influence, I should say, from Borderlands. I know loot isn't a Borderlands only thing, but particularly the design of the chest and the fact that you are dead or were dead at one point begs the question if they drew some influence from Borderlands, which it in fact did.
I was gonna say you don't die in Borderlands, but I mean you give like a
You were
train
very
accident in
You
Borderlands.
create a
very
kind of a
close to death
strange
in that train accident.
paradox thing. It's just like, oh, you're alive because you are. Why can't that happen to everyone else in the
Yeah.
universe?
Yeah, exactly.
What was it the joke Ryan made? He goes, "I'm in too much of a rush to even explain to you why I'm in a rush, and I can't explain this to you."
It's
Yeah, it was something like that.
that, and it's actually in a cutscene in the game. So
Oh.
gotta love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a cutscene in Destiny that has kind of like that.
Yeah. Word for word.
Yeah. So, like I was saying, a lot of influence from Borderlands, but that's like everything that's great. Like the Constitution, and that was not original idea in that fucking document at
Yeah,
all.
let's compare Destiny to the Constitution of
I'm
the United
making-
fucking
I'm-
States.
No, motherfucker, it's a great Constitution because it doesn't take up, rooms. What I'm
Okay.
saying is it drew other inspiration and other influences.
Yeah,
it's not an
everything
original
builds off
goddamn
everything,
document
but
like everyone.
sometimes what you build off of is not the right way to go off things. Is what I'm saying.
I kind of stopped listening because I don't play Borderlands. I don't
Oh
really
my
care. So all I heard was
You should.
Borderlands and
After drinking your
Constitution,
vodka,
and now I'm like
goddamn.
concerned about the fact that I wasn't listening. and paying more attention to the fact that you guys are making absolutely no fucking sense.
No,
I think Zach is slowly
God,
starting to
Borderlands
lose his mind
Damn it.
over.
I don't even think slowly applies anymore.
He's played too much Destiny. It's rotted his brain.
That's
Nah.
kind of
Just
what
go
I
with
think
that.
happened.
He's in too much of a rush to explain to you what's going on.
Well,
Exactly.
yeah, I think it's just the constant
But-
grinding. You already saw how he attempted to start the intro.
Yeah.
But that being said, Borderlands definitely drew influences from other games, obviously, like
Yeah.
RPGs and shooters. And
Sure.
I feel this Destiny is probably in the same way that Borderlands 1 was, where it sort of is unique, but not really, and it's
Yeah.
probably going to be the second game where they really find their
Basic.
voice. Yeah, they're going to be their own thing. They're not going to be able to compare it to, say, Borderlands by Destiny 2, I would assume.
Would you say they were a bit too ambitious with Destiny?
Yeah, it's a lot of tackle, you know, like bringing an MMO effectively to a console. I mean, there's no way ESO, like they just keep delaying ESO or Elder Scrolls Online. For those of you who don't know what that is, and it just, in my honest opinion, I will be gobsmacked and sell my right foot if it comes to Xbox One, but it's not going to happen.
Well, there was a MMO for console. It was on the 360. It was some
Defiance.
Final Fantasy.
Well, there's the Final
there's
Fantasy
Defiance.
thing, and then there's the Final Star
Fantasy
universe
stuff.
thing. Yeah, there was that. That game was pretty good. It's just you can only. I just don't like the separate subscription thing where basically you have to pay on top of Xbox Live. Like that's where MMOs
That model-
are having a hard time getting to the console, really.
Yeah. Well, that model is going out the window now for PC even too. Like World of Warcraft is free until level 20. Star Wars: The Old Republic is free unless you buy like certain things. And
What's
except for Eve.
What's
Eve is
DC's?
still very.
I just heard it's free until you spend money.
It's free, but
It's
if
free until you
really
spend
like
money,
the game, and or you want to get a bit of a gaming edge over the enemies and the other players, then you can pay money for it.
It's like going to a club with no cover. Like you go in, you're like, yay, and you're like, oh, I want to buy some drinks, and it's free until you spend money.
Exactly.
There you go.
Exactly.
I think the only game that really has a subscription anymore is EVE Online, but even
Well,
then,
doesn't
you
ESO
can,
have a continuing subscription now?
Yeah, I
I
think
don't
it
know.
does.
But
I'm pretty
unless
sure
they
it did.
suddenly start going
I'm
free
gonna tell you,
play, which would be awesome. I'd probably actually download
They,
the game again.
I'm guessing in a couple of months they're gonna announce they're going free to play. Because Star Wars started with a paid thing too,
And that didn't
obviously. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I think the only one that still has it is EVE Online. But even then, you can actually buy a month's subscription in the online market. for
Game money?
game
Oh my
money.
gosh.
Like in-game currency? That's awesome.
But it takes forever to earn it.
So-
Yeah, you buy it from other players who spend the money to buy like a subscription. It's called like Plex. Like you can buy a month of Plex, and then you can sell it in game for in-game money, or if you have enough in-game money, you can buy it
I
from
can
someone
imagine you
who's
could
selling
just
it.
like gamble your Plex away.
Oh god.
Yeah, like my buddies, they'll do just mine all day just to
Just-
get in-game currency.
Yeah, what are the stats like? There's like EVE Online battles where they'll lose like $14,000 worth of stuff.
Ugh.
Yeah, there was one where
because-
they've lost millions of dollars, like
Oh,
total.
that's heart
Are we
wrenching.
talking
in terms of
I don't think I
because-
can
in-game
do that.
currency
Real
and
money.
real world. Both. Like a mix of both.
It's because you can technically buy in-game money with real money. There's like a exchange rate.
It's like a 1-to-1 exchange rate. Oh god, that'd be terrible.
Well, not a 1-to-1 exchange rate, but yeah, like the way they calculate it is there's like thousands of dollars lost sometimes in battles, like real life money worth of in-game stuff. If that makes
It's
sense.
interesting
Yeah.
how they created that
No,
much
yeah.
of an economy in order to do something like that.
$300,000 was like the last big, is what a ship would cost.
Yeah.
Yeah. But there's some
Crazy.
stories I've heard from EVE Online that are just absolutely insane. Like, there was this one story of someone spent real money to hire this guild to make new accounts, then join an enemy guild, and eventually work their way up in ranks to get to the top. And then once they were at the top, they transferred all the guild accounts to the, like, person that hired them, and then just split.
Yeah, like,
Oh my
yeah,
god.
that kind of stuff happens in that
That's
game. It's
crazy.
freaking crazy.
The best
It
ones
makes me
are
want to
the-
play that game, but then I know I'm just gonna be spending 80 hours mining rocks.
Yeah, I
No,
don't
that's
think
why
I can.
you start
I
mining rocks,
already
and then
grind
you
as it
start
is with Destiny.
getting that game money to pay others to mine your rocks for you, and then you sell what they mine.
At that
Make
point,
it-
I can just become like an entrepreneur and
Selling
make my own
rocks?
business.
Yeah, make a
Pretty much.
triangle or a pyramid scheme. Jesus, triangle scheme.
Triangle
English has been failing me this whole entire podcast.
You want some vodka?
God, I wish I had an
Triangle scheme.
excuse.
I really
Triangle
want-
scheme.
I really want
that
a
on
pyramid
shirt now.
I want that to come up in a conversation for me sometime in the next couple days, just so I can say that.
Just so you can reference my stupidity.
And
That.
but I'm gonna own it and pretend like that's totally what I actually meant to say, and just
Oh.
not acknowledge that it might not be
Nice.
correct, and see at what point people go. It's like if I can start making other people doubt what they think it's supposed to be called, I will be successful.
You're
I did
troll.
that a couple days ago when I went into GameStop because I know someone on the site that has referred to the new Super Smash Brothers
Oh,
Smash
gosh.
Fighter like all the time. And I go and I'm like, "Do you have the new Smash Fighter?" And they're like, "Look at me," and I'm like, "What?" And
The
then they're
new
like,
Smash?
"Yeah, we do. Yeah, we have it." I'm like, "Okay." And I walk out of the store. I'm like, "This is called Smash Brothers. What the fuck am I talking about?" Like they must have thought I was like the biggest idiot. Like, oh,
I-
you got
I-
Do you have the video
Oh,
I
yeah,
made
game?
the
it's
customer
great.
come
Pre-orders.
in.
Did you
Can I
pick
get
up
this
any
for the
pre-orders?
Xbox?
No, wait, can I get this
I had,
for the
I had the
Xbox
customer come in
4?
today. And,
Oh god.
Lucas, you ever heard anything like that over in Britain? Like, wait, you work at Game, right?
yeah, I work at Game, and the customer came in today asking for the PS Vista.
Oh god, because neither of those have enough issues as they are. Can you
Yeah.
imagine if you put Vista, like if Vista actually invaded the console?
Oh.
God,
That would give me nightmares.
I'm gonna have nightmares about that anyways, even though it's not real. That's a horror movie.
That's it.
The worst part was,
Because-
sorry.
There's a
No,
worst
go ahead,
part.
Lucas.
Oh, the worst part is that my coworker, he's a temp like me, and he didn't want to embarrass the guy, so he kept referring to it as a Vista as well.
Oh
And then,
no!
You got to. You gotta
And then-
commit.
No, you don't have
Oh,
to.
oh,
There's
then-
no
then
reason that
he
says
sold
you
a
have
good
to
console,
sink yourself.
and the customer was happy.
Exactly.
And then he's
So they
gonna
refer
keep
to it.
calling it that.
No,
No,
yeah.
No,
he can say you don't have to correct him. You don't have
As
to
a
correct
customer
the idiot.
service / sales rep, you can't you have to be
No,
the
but-
bitch of the customer. There's
No,
you just,
that
but
just
you
means
just bend down and take it. Like you
No.
can't just fucking.
No, you don't.
no,
No,
because
you
even worse after that, my manager
God,
came
it
there
can't
because
get
he was a
worse.
temp and he didn't know what to do. So he said, "Oh, can this customer get the PS Vista?" And he goes, "What?" And he goes, "Can you get the PS Vista?"
Oh,
You mean
no.
you mean the
no.
Vista?
That just makes him look like an idiot.
exactly.
Yeah.
Now he looks dumb. That's why it's like you don't have to correct the person who's saying it wrong, but
You just say it the right way.
Nah,
you
I
just
see
say
where
it
Like,
the
you're
oh
right
yeah,
way.
we have the PS
Yeah.
Vita. Yeah.
That kid has moxie. He
'Cause
he just
people-
he just gave in and understood what the customer wanted.
No, because now his boss thinks he's stupid.
It doesn't matter. He was trying to help the
Oh,
customer.
it doesn't matter. I want to point out, if you have a choice between your boss thinking you're stupid and a customer thinking you're stupid, you always let the
You
customer.
don't want to
think
make
you're
you don't want to make the customer seem like they're stupid because then they'll have a negative experience.
No,
You're-
you
you're
go
not
out of your
making
way
that-
to say that, like, okay, like, we had a similar, I actually just got my new training, I'm working at Best Buy, like, starting next week. But, like, I know my mom, I'm trying to explain what a concept, like, and there's a difference between, like, an HDMI cord and a cord that connects your printer to your computer.
Of course.
Some people don't know
Yeah.
there's a difference there.
Well, that's a technical issue. This is a fucking video game console.
But because a
that
console is not
Well,
technically.
I
No,
guess
what
you
I'm
know,
saying
you
is
go out of your way to
invention
say, versus its
This is what it
purpose.
actually is.
Yeah.
Would you prefer if
You don't
went
have to be a
with
dick
friend-
about it to actually get them on the right path.
Yeah, you can just say,
Exactly.
they just say, oh, can I get the PS Vista? And you go, yeah, we have a PS Vita. Yeah.
No, yeah.
You say it all like harsh.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a PS.
You don't need to be a dick
Vita.
about it and be like, no, you stupid idiot, it's a PS Vita. Get out of my fucking
And that's
Yeah,
how
we
you
got
get
a
fired.
PS Vita.
Yeah, you don't need to do that. You can just go, yeah, we have a PS Vita.
Yes.
And then, oh, okay. And yeah, so here it is, and then here it is. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I've worked, like, those are the only jobs I've ever worked as a customer service rep, or person.
Yeah, I
So
guess
it's
that
just-
when you're totally focused on talking just with the customer over and over, not even face to face, that's
Yeah,
a bit
true.
different.
Even as a busser, like, if someone, I got some weird questions from Australian folk, because I worked at basically a restaurant that was like, in a nature park. So a lot of tourists would come by and they'll ask stupid, really dumb questions like, "Can I pet this thing?" And I'm like, "No, you cannot pet this thing because it'll chomp your arm off." But
can I pet this thing?
No, sir, that is my penis.
yeah.
Sorry. Sorry.
God. So, you just gotta give in, just make them feel better, and then they'll be corrected by one of their family or, friends, where getting corrected isn't that big of a fucking deal. And then they'll know from that point on. Once they leave the store, who cares?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like, once they leave the store, who cares? So if they think you're an idiot, or whatever, that's totally fucking fine. So you don't have to correct them, but you don't have to stoop to their level of ignorance and lack
Idiocy.
of knowledge. Idiocy. I didn't want to go for full-on idiocy for putting an extra letter in something, but sure, let's go with idiocy. So it's like, you don't have to get down to that level if they're going to mispronounce something or just totally make up a new name for it. You don't have to be like, "Oh, I don't know what a Vista is, but we have a Vita." Like, you don't have to be a jerk about it. But you don't have to be like, "Oh yes, a Vista." You don't know.
Yeah,
that's
you don't have to play along.
Completely unnecessary.
I don't know.
You don't have to play along.
And the customer wants to know that you know what you're talking about.
Exactly.
Yeah, the only thing that fucked that experience over for Lucas's temp, whatever, coworker, is that the fucking manager didn't play along. That's all he had, or he could have just ignored what he said. And he's like, "Oh yeah, we have one of those."
Wait, why don't we continue? What if then the customer was actually like this really huge gamer and he was just like testing
And the
it?
manager looked like a bloody idiot.
Yeah, well, then that's Britain's problem. I know for a fact us here in the U.S. have semi-competent GameStop/Game Pros.
Oh, Jesus. You should come to Iowa.
Laughing at you on top of my ivory tower.
I mean, the guy at GameStop didn't correct me when I said Smash Fighter. I don't know if they're that
because
competent.
he doesn't want to deal with your shit. Because there are plenty of people trolling. It's a constant troll fest for those poor GameStop people. Even though GameStop is Satan, but at the same time, it's not the employee's fault.
Maybe he just wasn't sure if that was like the lingo that was going
Yeah.
around. Like that's just the cool term.
A
For
fighter
the
is,
Super
you
Smash
could
Bros.
relate that to a fighting game,
Yeah.
and then Smash is, the brand of fighter. So, you just go, "Hey, yo, I want my Smash fighter, Yog." Dog?
Yeah.
Yog?
Yeah,
Wait,
like Yog.
Yog.
This
The J is silent.
yeah, exactly.
The old soft
No,
scale.
this
Ye old dog.
no, the setting
old
of
homie.
the whole excerpt here is like New Hampshire or something. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
I can't.
What are you talking about, Zach? I don't know what you're.
He's using the new lingo. You wouldn't understand.
Exactly. If you got on my level, English wouldn't be so hard.
We just got finished talking about how you don't have to stoop down to the level of
You're
idiots.
like in the sub-level of the basement. You are.
Yeah. Nah.
Oh, God.
I don't
Norway.
want to go there.
is what
It's
I'd
dark
have
and
to say
creepy
there.
and there are rats. Okay? Okay.
Anyway, I got Smash Brothers. That's
Okay.
the moral of that
That's
story.
where we started.
And to be fair to my temp co-worker, to prove my own idiocy, I once sold someone an empty box.
That was
Okay, that's kind of
fucking
funny.
perfect. That story was amazing.
Wait, did they? How long did it take?
And I guess
either
the
of you
important
to
thing is,
notice
what
at
was
that
an empty
point?
box of? Because I can imagine, like, an empty games case is going to feel like a games case that has a disc in it. But if you sold them,
Console.
like, an empty, like, Xbox box,
Here's your new Xbox, and he happily walks off. At Lyle, the versions are getting really light. They must have been.
Yeah, so
It's a new
Fancy,
slim.
fancy.
It's a
Wow.
new
Let me-
slim version.
Let me explain. Okay. So I was behind the till, and what we do is, if it's a pre-owned game, like we keep everything behind the till. So if it's a pre-owned game, the person comes up with the case, and then I go into the drawer and I pull out the pre-owned game, put it in the case, seal it up, then do the normal other bullshit I need to do. But because the guy was huge and it was like my 5th day, I was terrified of messing up. So I gave him a fresh case, but then I accidentally gave him the old case. So like, as he walked out the store, and then 5 minutes later, I'm looking at the counter, and then there's the fresh case, and I'm like, oh
Nice.
no. And then an hour later, he came back. and he wasn't mad, which was the worst thing. He was just very
Disappointed.
patronizing.
It's like, I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed.
Oh, it's okay. I know it's not your fault. So he was like that. It was like this big tough guy, but he was all
Yeah,
nice
but in
to
like
you?
a Welsh accent. Oh, it's alright, don't worry about it. Like, we all make mistakes. It must be very hard putting those discs into those boxes.
Oh, so that's how
dick.
you...
That is sarcasm out of
Oh, I love it. It's like I'm being really nice, but I'm kind of being an asshole. Just
that's some
FYI.
passive aggressive shit right
Yeah.
there.
Holy
You Brits
crap.
are great at that, aren't you?
Never mind.
What?
So, something that got, like, shown on my IGN. I thought my boss was just filling me full of shit. Nope. There really is a selfie remote.
Wait, what does that mean?
It,
What
like-
does that mean?
It's like you hold it up, so you don't have to, like, have your, in case your, like, button for the camera's in a weird spot, you just, like, click the thing and it takes a selfie.
Oh, is it like one of those little... I'm imagining, you know, like on a camo where they have like the little push thing?
Yeah, it's like a
Little
remote
button.
timer for your phone.
say
It's
on
like
a
a selfie.
camel?
Yeah.
I said a camera. I have
Oh,
an
a
accent,
camera.
Zelda.
Okay.
Stop the bullying. Jeez.
Yeah. God.
Fuck off.
One.
I definitely thought you said on a
Yeah, I
camel, and I'm
think
like, what the fuck kind of
3
camels
times.
have you seen?
See, I know you hate it when I reuse jokes, so I'm just going to reuse that joke so
Oh,
much.
great. I'm looking forward to that bullshit.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness. So, what's the... Is it... I was just imagining you're holding up your phone, and then you have this separate little flicker in your other hand.
Yeah, that's-
Because you can't reach your phone. To do the proper selfie.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think they're,
Is it-
I don't think they're gonna steal too many.
Is it just an app, or like...
I
What?
don't
Like,
know.
you can put a
I'm
timer
like,
app, I'm sure.
I don't know.
I'm sure there could be a in-game or in
I don't know if they're just.
UI.
Cause
Yeah, I was gonna
sometimes-
say in-game app. Jesus.
Sometimes they'll put out
Built-in
ads
game
that like
app.
aren't actually a thing, just to
Yeah.
fuck with people.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
Like
it's
the
I'm wondering
Onion.
if this was just picked
But
up.
that wave...
Yeah, exactly.
that
like that.
wave app.
is fantastic.
Oh, like the Onion, but destroys less phones.
Yeah.
You know the Onion? Everyone knows the Onion, right?
Great satirical news site.
Yeah. They had a movie.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Oh.
Like my college paper would do every year they'd make an Onion style like of the newspaper, and it was always hilarious.
It's always funny when people just don't get it.
Exactly.
My favorite Onion video is the one where they pretend that they taught a gorilla like that it's going to one day die, and like they use footage from from I think it's Kiko or maybe the gorilla that knows sign language, and it's like gorilla knows
The
death.
gorilla that
Gorilla
also
will one day rot away.
Terrible.
It's just
They got a
sad.
gorilla to adapt to like Nietzschean philosophy.
Oh man, that would be hilarious. I love satire. It's just, it's great.
A
Probably one of my
nihilistic
Fortunately-
gorilla, that'd be hilarious.
Yeah, a nihilistic gorilla.
Nothing
Nothing
matters.
matters. Why do I eat this banana? Just gonna die one day.
So, Kiko, do you want to go on the swings? Why? The universe is empty and we're all going to die.
That's so sad, but kind
Thought
of
I was a
funny.
nihilist. I guess I'm only politically a nihilist.
Yeah, nothing matters politically.
Yeah, it's all just
I said that in a
Big
pointless argument
corporations
thread, and
funding.
people got mad because I said
Well-
politics is just arguing about dirt.
I would say local politics. It
Seems
matters.
that a
way
bunch
more.
of people...
yeah,
Oh,
local. Yeah, I'll agree
A
with
bunch
that.
of people that come into my store love to talk about politics, and every single
You're
one
in
of them is
Georgia.
like ranting about the that quality as they like walk out the store.
Yeah.
It's just so random sometimes. The people that, first of all, that come in, and then kind of back to what we were saying earlier. How many people try and don't understand? Since first of all, since our store was closing, we're offering them coupons for a different store, and every single person tries to use the store coupons at our store. No matter how many times we tell them it's for a different store.
Yeah.
One of
Like,
these times,
it's just
you're just gonna be lazy one day, and you're like, "Fuck it, I'll apply the coupon manually myself or something." You'll give in.
Well, sometimes we have to because some customers are just like, but it says,
But
but
it
it
says.
says. It says right here.
Yeah.
Well, they're basically that level of like
yeah.
stubbornness when it comes to certain things.
Antagonistic.
Kind of reminds me of.
So-
I don't know if you guys know that chain called Casey's. It's a chain of gas stations. But
never heard of it.
they're more of
yes,
like
I
a
think so.
convenience store. Like they have really good food and pizza and stuff, and it's also a gas station. But when they first opened up in my town where I was teaching, they would give out coupons for like 6-inch subs for like half off. But like 2 weeks into after their grand opening, they got a call from the Casey's corporate office being like, "Hey, yeah, you're like either A, just giving away sandwiches, or you're putting way too much fucking meat on your sandwiches because we cannot keep selling so many at a loss at your Casey's." Because every time I'd go in there for lunch, it'd be a line of 30 people in a gas station
Jeez.
for food. And they just constantly run out of ingredients every day. It was crazy.
It's more of a
I'm not
survival test.
The
Like-
best coupons. Hold on. The best coupons I've ever gotten is there's a Subway up the street, and I'm not sure if I'm the only one that takes advantage of this because there's no way they would stay in business if everyone took advantage of this coupon. But basically, on the back of every Safeway receipt is this coupon. You get like a free foot-long sub with the purchase of another one. Like I've saved like $10 each time I go there. It's amazing. I don't know how they stay in business. They
Because
do.
people usually throw away their receipts.
Yeah, they do.
Very
Lucas.
few.
Or tell the teller to do it for them.
Yeah.
Nah, you can throw
See?
it and we'll walk out.
Save your
Exactly.
receipt, kids, because you get foot-long subs for free.
The more you
More
know.
store. Yeah, the more you know.
Financial
That's why I like
advice
going to
from the
Hy-Vee.
whip.
They'll print coupons on the back for like free pizza at like various restaurants around town. Yes.
Yeah.
Victory.
I completely interrupted Lucas, by the way. I just...
Oh, no. I was going to make a stupid joke, so.
No, go ahead,
And then
make
he
it stupid.
followed
joke.
up.
Probably
Now-
too
now
late.
you
It's
have
all about
to.
timing with those things.
It's too late.
Please stop.
No, stop it.
Karaoke with TFT, brought to you by
Absolutely
Netflix.
not.
Comcast.
Comcast.
Destiny.
And getting fucked in
for
the
the new-
ass.
Karaoke.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that way, you have
That would
something
be an
enjoyable to
interesting
do.
commercial campaign.
No.
About getting fucked in the ass.
Prepare your butts.
There's a demographic out there for that, I'm sure.
There's a demographic out there for everything, unfortunately.
Very true.
Do you like pointy things? Do you think you
Oh,
sit
gosh.
too comfortably? Then you need to be fucked in the ass.
Have you made a bowel movement within the last week? Well, it looks like you'll need
Here comes
Our-
Comcast.
Oh my
Yeah.
The laughing
Comcast
actually
package.
hurts out. Oh,
Do you have constipation? We can get rid of that.
Jesus.
We can fix that for you.
This took
What's
a
the worst thing you've ever done?
worst thing I've ever done.
Mhm.
Like how?
In what
Yeah, what
context?
like,
And,
like,
Morally.
Like-
More.
worst thing you've ever shoved up your ass? Or like, what
Yeah,
was
worst
Like
thing
went to
sexually,
a
morally,
wake and set the body on fire.
Yeah, pissed on your grandma's corpse. Like, what
This
are
is
we
a really
gonna go
awkward-
into here?
really awkward segue to try to make?
Sorry. But,
Well, he has been drinking vodka. Straight
Lucas,
up.
Like what's
hurry up
the most?
and answer our goddamn questions.
If you want, I'll shut up. I'm sure he would.
Oh,
Lucas, what would-
crying.
Look.
I meant it as like you think back on it and you think, wow, that was like totally unacceptable, but I still did it anyway.
Oh, thing you most regret afterwards, I guess.
Oh, if we're talking regret, mine would be
Ah.
my semester of bad decision making. It actually has a name. It's
Do you-
not
the
good.
way you phrased that made me think that you accidentally got pregnant and had a baby and it has a name.
No.
Like, I had a big mistake. It
No,
has a name.
no. Yeah, no, it's what we actually
it's called
call the
that.
period of time. The period of time has
Decision
a,
is the
a
middle
name. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, no, my semester of bad decision making was definitely a thing that happened.
Specifically
It's
the
definitely
making.
a joke.
Sorry.
What was that?
Nothing. That's
You
terrible.
said especially the making part.
I went through a really rough time. I got out of an abusive relationship, and my way to deal with all of the things that came with that was to exercise my liver and make questionable choices while my liver was getting a workout.
I'll drink to that.
So
That seems
That
like a
went
very
on-
normal
that went on
thing,
for a
though.
semester, and then I woke up one morning and I'm like, okay, this is a thing that should not happen anymore. I think I'm good. I got it out of my system. I'm gonna go home now, and everything's gonna be fine.
Seems the cure all.
Reminds
I
me
don't
of-
know.
Oh, Lucas, I just noticed your Skype avatar is your quote from the last podcast. I
Not
like
meant
it.
to mention that. We're not meant to.
Wartburg, don't try to dodge the subject. What's the worst thing you've ever done?
Honestly, I don't know. Like yelled at a student. I don't know. I don't do anything stupid.
It doesn't have to be stupid.
I'm
Just
drinking
be
No,
vodka.
it's not
incredible.
stupid. It could
I
just
can't
be,
drink.
like-
I can't make bad life decisions because my body would literally kill me. So
Yeah, I look out at that in the ways that my body's trying to kill me. Alcohol actually helps. So,
For
yeah, suppressants are good for my system.
Yeah,
It actually calms all my shit down. So I'm actually supposed to drink at least a little bit all the time.
and they use
It
pure
keeps
ethanol.
my
that'd be
things from
nice.
it keeps my body from exploding.
And
So
don't they use pure ethanol to shrink cancer?
absolutely not. Whatever it is you're about to say is absolutely
they
not.
they
Are you
can
sure?
inject it with herpes virus, though. That will
No,
actually
it's-
I
attack
thought it was pure
cancer
ethanol
tumors.
or something. I
Yeah.
thought it was alcohol that
Yeah.
shrunk cancer. Tumors.
Pure ethanol is going to do nothing but terrible things to you,
Yeah, it'll, like,
regardless of
burn
how
through
it is
everything.
applied.
We didn't want
Fair
it.
enough.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was
because
I
chemo is so good
know
for you.
it's something. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, there's that.
But,
Well, that was
Yeah.
one thing. Is like, yeah, when all my shit came up, they're like, "Oh, well, if it became an option, would you want to do radiation or chemo?" I'm like, "Absolutely not. I would rather do surgery and remove everything. I do not want to do that shit. I worked with those drugs for a while. Those are nasty motherfuckers."
Poison, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It's like poison. It's slowly poisoning yourself and hoping that the bad things die before all the good things do.
Don't they have a special syringe so like it doesn't burn the inside of your vein or like the part of the flesh that the syringe is exposed to? Is it a glass syringe? I don't know.
That would seem horribly ill-conceived.
I don't know.
If you ever want to move
fucking-
your arm.
I'm trying to reclaim memory lost when I did a semester of anatomy phys, but it's gone, so I'm just grasping at straws.
Fun thing I would like to point out, since I was double checking to make sure I wasn't completely crazy, I'm like, there's no way ethanol applied to anything is ever going to end well. The first hit I got was ethanol stimulates tumor progression. So very much
okay.
the opposite effect of what you're hoping for.
it either gets rid of it or makes it really bad.
Which is how most things work.
Yeah.
It either fights cancer or makes it really terrible.
It fights cancer by killing you.
Yeah, yeah, if you die, the
That's
cancer
like the
can't get
poor
you.
chosen
Exactly.
policy of medicine. Like, well, your liver's failing, so we're just gonna kill you to make sure it doesn't kill you.
Exactly.
Chaos, what's the worst thing you've ever done?
I don't know if I have a thing that's like just the worst. Oh my god.
Yeah, and
There's so many bad things you can't pick.
Yeah.
I'm
That's
still
it.
Life of crime.
like not understanding by worst. Like
I would say most
I mean,
regrettable.
most regrettable.
Yeah, that's a good qualifier.
I don't know. Anytime I think about something regrettable, I immediately think about the fun times I had leading up to that point. So it's like hard to regret everything.
But like, it was really fun until it got real, and then like, it just got really bad. But you're like, hey, it was really fun.
I
It's like
guess.
Alright, should I give an example?
Yeah, good.
No,
Sure.
Yes,
Yeah, go
give us
ahead.
yours, because I thought of one, but you go first.
Before I give my example, I'd like to point out I'm drinking vodka at 10 to 3 in the morning, but whatever.
Perfect.
So we can just get all the truths from him right now.
I knew I liked you.
The worst thing I've ever done, well, one of the worst things I've ever done, I was doing the paper round at 3 in the afternoon, because I had a hangover, and I was like, fuck that, people can have their papers at dinner.
Oh my god, I love so much about this story already.
And my village is kind of on it like a slow going downhill, and what kids like to do is that they like ride to the top and then travel all the way down the bottom, and there's this one kid who every time gets my fucking nerve. Like, every time I'm doing the round, he comes down and he just jeers at me. He goes, paper boy, you're 18, you're doing the paper. Fuck off, kid.
We're golf, kid. I have a
My
hangover
life is
right
like-
now.
So I was doing this walk and I could hear him starting already as he was coming down the street, so I thought, fuck this. So I kicked him off his bike.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
That's
I
good.
I
love
kind of want to
this.
see how that looks like.
I just picture a kid slowly rolling down a little hill.
He was going at least, I don't know, 5 or something. It's
Gosh.
quite steep, so he was going quite fast. So it was actually surprising that I managed to time it so perfectly, but I managed to kick him off. The worst part I realised is that I kicked him into the road. So then,
He's dead now,
so then
right?
Yeah, Lucas is podcasting from a jail cell.
But
No, you're gonna hear him getting taken away,
Using a compound.
like live, just like some of the other Twitch streams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is his.
Except this is completely justified.
He's gonna get swatted on purpose.
the absolute worst part is that I got away with it, and the kid never bothered me again, so it worked.
Well, yeah, you kicked him into the road. Of course he's not gonna bother you again.
He never bothered me.
Like, that guy tried to kill me. I'm leaving him the fuck alone.
Who knew kids listened so well to attempted murder?
Yeah.
Listen, some people need some medicine, and the universe decided to choose you to be that medicine.
Choke.
To choose. I said I was going to correct myself. I was about to say chose, but that is past. That is not the right tense. Jesus.
Stop being so tense.
Well, fuck.
Yes.
Wartburg, you were going to say something about your...
Yeah,
reasonable
I
example?
actually, all the drinking stories reminded me of something. Now, when I was 18, right the night after graduation, we'd had a bonfire at, like, one of my buddy's old abandoned farm places.
Nice.
You know, as kids in the Midwest in the middle of fucking nowhere will do. A lot of drinking was involved. In our case, one of our 14-year-old friends, he was a freshman at the time, downed 3/4 of a bottle of gin. And he'd never really gotten drunk before. So he asked what would happen. So me and the other kind of sober guy were like, you know, we described the side effects of ecstasy. So he went around the party like acting basically like he was on ecstasy. And he went up and grabbed the girl's crotch, and she kicked him so hard in the shin that he still has a dent 6 years later in his shin.
Oh my god. I want to high five her. That's some power.
Yeah, and then a few hours later, he falls over in his chair and just completely passed out. It's like 2 a.m. And I have a choice between taking home the 400-pound large guy who's just passed out on the tailgate. Somehow I was chosen to take him home, while the freshman, and I'm 5'7", all 110 pounds at the time, I get to haul his ass downstairs. That was fun. And then the other kid, we sent him home with the other freshmen who were also drunk.
He's dead
really,
now.
Really dumb. His dad was the football coach, so he kind of kicked all our asses.
Yeah.
See, I'm like probably the most boring 21-year-old ever because I turned 21, I had a beer, and I'm like, nah. And I haven't been drunk at all.
I was 9 when I had my first drink, and it was Jack Daniels.
That's because you live in Wales. That's because you live in Wales, though.
What would be like drunk then?
Yeah, that's what you guys cut your
They
teeth
don't need
on.
their brain cells over there, so they get started early.
You know what? Go fuck yourself, Wartburg. I'm sick of this. I'm just so fucking...
Hey, that's my first and only Welsh joke.
He's gonna deck you in.
That's it.
Swear on his mum.
I swear though, that if you and I ever actually meet in real life, you're probably gonna kick my ass. But...
My dad told me it tasted sweet, and then I was like, oh, okay, it's a sweet drink, and then I cried and cried and cried, and then I became a man.
That's like the saddest story I have ever heard in my life. Like,
I also want to point out, if anybody missed the first sentence that said you tried Jack, the rest of that sounded really fucking terrible.
Yeah.
He said it tasted really sweet, so I was okay with it, and then I cried and cried.
and then I became a man.
Doesn't sound good. It doesn't sound good. None of that sounded good.
Even with the context, though, that sounds terrible. Like, yo, you gave me alcohol,
I mean, even with context.
and I
it's pretty
cried
bad.
and cried and cried afterwards.
Well, it's
Yeah, on second thought, it is just as bad that way.
it's a tradition.
It's made me immune to Jack Daniels. No way.
I'm actually afraid to become
I should be
drunk,
dead.
honestly. Like, I'm afraid I'll be more belligerent than I already am, and just, I don't know,
Yeah.
turn Super Saiyan?
Or you'll just go completely the opposite. But a non-belligerent would be
You
like,
could be like one of my friends who goes into a closet and prays whenever he gets drunk. It's insane. Like, we were, again, in high school, in one of my friend's basement, he just stands up, goes into the closet, starts praying.
That's amazing. I love that.
And you know when he does that, he's gonna black out. And another one of my friends will only talk in Spanish when he's blackout drunk.
Nice.
Is he Hispanic, or does he just learn Spanish?
He's the guy who hopped up on our counter in college, and when people would come into the dorm, just scream at them in his Batman voice, "Where are they?" And then he'd tackle them and start punching them in his boxers.
Were they Batman boxers? That's the most important
Yeah,
part.
they had to be back.
He came down the next morning, dude. Why are my clothes in the stove? Well,
Oh,
you were.
You were
Dude, why do I live in a cave?
Wake up.
The
What?
worst things I've ever done while drunk.
Why are my parents
is I was
dead?
like- Oh, Jesus.
Oh.
Okay, my story can stop now. What would you want to tell a story?
Go ahead. I'm sorry. It just came to me.
It just came to you. Dead parents. Gotta say it.
Oh, that's from Batman.
Gotta get that out
It's
there.
Batman. You know.
I didn't even connect that.
Yeah.
One of my worst moments in my life is, God, I'm really depressing on a podcast actually, thinking about it.
I like how you're laughing about it as you're trying to say one of the most depressing moments of your life.
I was meant to be going to this party at a friend's house, but we went to the pub first, and I spent 30 quid on shots. And I got there and I was feeling fine, and then my cousin gave me a wine bottle, so I downed it. Like a full bottle of wine. Thing is though, she didn't ask me to down it, she asked me to hold it, so by the time she turned around to take it back from me, it was already gone. And it was like one of the most disgusted looks I've ever seen on someone's face. And then when the party got out of hand and everyone had to go out to the pubs then, because somebody had caused a mess. And
I love that the solution to a party getting out of hand is like, fuck it, let's go to a bar and make a mess somewhere else.
well,
I love that.
it was just there was a mess, so she wanted everyone out, and she was like, "Yeah, Luke."
What mess? What type of mess?
Somebody had just spilled like drinks all over the stairs, and she was
Okay.
like, "Let's everyone get the fuck out now." And she said to me, "I don't want." She said to me, "I don't want anyone coming into the house. Can you all just get out?" So I took that as no one is now allowed in this house, including her friends who were trying to help her. So I was standing in front of the door going, "No, no, no." Kame said, "No one allowed in. No." And they're holding paper towels.
Were you sending him away with bags of popcorn?
Yeah.
And then I passed out in the street and I had to be taken home.
I guess it's my turn. It was prom night.
Oh.
Going
Sound like
there.
my
His
semester
name is
story.
Jacob.
Yeah. No, it was not that. I was
It was
dancing.
Carl?
There was
I
a dumpster and a baby.
I went stag. I danced with like
Aw.
6 or 7 ladies. Made out with a few of them, and then we went back to my friend's place, and I had like 4 or 5 shots of whiskey. And I'm not really a heavyweight,
Good
but
man, good man.
yeah. And then I made spaghetti for everyone, which everyone was grateful. And then after a few rounds, it's not even
Wait,
the
that's
bad
not a
part.
euphemism. That's not a euphemism for something, right? Like,
No,
I
it's
made
not a
spaghetti
no,
for
no,
everybody.
no. It was literally a bowl of spaghetti that I made with a little bit of whiskey.
And 2 meatballs?
No, it's not a euphemism. God. And then I
Did you use
played
Italian
like
sausage or ground beef? Come on, details.
he's poor. He was a bachelor, so he didn't have like meat. So I just made a meatless spaghetti and added a little jack
Out
for
of
a
your
robust
penis?
flavor.
So you just
No.
ruined everybody's night.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
No, they were all grateful because some of them were high and some of them were really drunk. Played a few rounds of King's Cup, which is a game where you drink and blah blah blah. And I start making out with this girl, and one of my friends is like, "Dude, she's not, she's a larger girl. You're gonna regret this." I'm like, "Nah, I'm just in the moment. It's after prom. Tonight's the night. I don't give a fuck."
I need to fuck something, so.
It basically, I don't know. When I get too drunk, I get really hyper or just really frisky, and it's I don't like doing that. But anyway, so she takes me upstairs, and we woohoo. It was great. It was nice, I guess. And that's my I guess it was my regret.
Is that how
you
you
use the
refer to
Sims label for sex?
Yeah. We fucked. I mean, that's
Okay.
basically it was an achievement
What?
because I was probably one of the only people at the party getting laid and on prom night, but at the same time, it wasn't with the most attractive of ladies.
You
So
shallow
looking back,
bastard.
you said it was an achievement. Was she a 10 gamer score? A 50? Like 100?
Oh my god.
And on what scale? Are we talking like the DLC, like arcade game scale? Or are we talking like a full retail release?
Yeah.
I mean, I felt like it was a retail release, but
Or was she an indie game?
no,
Was she Avatar: The Last Airbender game?
She was well funded. Oh yeah, she was way easy too. Yeah.
Okay.
This is so not good.
Just alcohol
This is
does
so not-
like
Yeah,
I don't know.
like all of your stories are alcohol related. I just realized. Like Lucas was hungover, everyone else was
Just a
drunk.
horrible person.
Yeah.
Mine was just I was at a place where drunk people were.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
It's all related to.
He was a
I'm
poor
scared to
bystander.
what would happen. Like wouldn't want to be the person that's like passed out and
That
just
happens.
missing everything. Because like some people are passed out and they wake up comfy in their bed. A couple things, and other people like wake out like they've been leaning against the lamppost the entire night, and no one even poked at them, and something could have easily and like bug bites everywhere.
I woke up at 5 a.m. on a hill, covered in my own vomit. Don't try to. Some people get taken to their beds. I didn't get taken to my bed. My friends saw the hill
Yeah, exactly.
and then they sent me
That's
on my
what I'm
way.
saying.
They were like, "Oh, he'll make it up there." I fell flat on my face, like lying in the gravel, until some stranger pulled up in a car, asked where I lived, drove me there, and I got out, said thank you. Didn't even look at him in the face. I have no idea who this person is. I'll never know. Until one day, maybe, where somebody goes, "Hey, didn't I pick you up
It
on the road
was
once?"
secretly Mr. Wartburg on vacation.
He came to save me.
So I guess, yeah. But I do guess, like, speaking of my story, like, again, eventually a couple years later, we're still having these bonfires. Just other stupid drunk stories from those. Like, one guy threw fireworks into the fire and we're all, like, right around it. And that was the same night we had two girls who were so drunk dancing around the fire. They were clearly unbalanced. Me and the other guy, he also really couldn't drink. We're like, they're gonna fall in the fire, aren't they? 5 seconds later, we had to jump off the tailgate, throw them back into the truck while we jumped over the fire so that they didn't burn up in flames right in the middle of the fucking bonfire. Drunk people are
Yeah.
That's my takeaway from being the sober person in my life.
I was trying to think.
Drunk people are stupid.
I was trying to think of the story that I regretted the most. I couldn't really come up with one until you mentioned fireworks. When I was younger, me and my friend were kind of like adventurous, is a good way to put it. And one father,
Are you gonna say you're arsonists?
that sounded way more gay than I was supposed to. Okay, we're a little bit. That's a giant way of saying we were kind of pyros. When one 4th of July, we bought a bunch of fireworks. My friend was like, we set one off, and it was like, hey, it was like a sparkler or something. It was like one of those tubes. And my friend was like, hey, me and my cousin, we used to take firework X, open it up, and pour it into firework Y, and then set it off and see what happened. We're like, dude, let's do that in my house, in my living room. And my mom came home, and it probably looked like a Taliban bomb shop because there was like fireworks open, black powder all over the dining room table. And I was like, what the fuck are you doing? We're like, no, it's cool. We can explain. We're going to take firework X and put it into firework Y and see what happens.
And then you add chemical Z.
And then you add in some tannerite, just for
Yeah.
fun.
So I guess that was probably the most regrettable because I could have blown my house up. I didn't. Morally, the worst thing I've done.
Like, did you punch a homeless man?
Cops don't listen to this, right?
There's a statute of limitations on
Okay,
most
good.
things.
When I was in middle school, I knew kids that would like shoplift. I never did that. I never shoplift. Instead, I scammed a few people out of some money. Like, they were like shopkeepers. Like, there's a trick you can do that sort of like confuses them when you're getting change. And I made probably like $100 doing that. So that was probably morally regrettable. I was like, you guys were drunk. I was just kind of an asshole.
Financially positive, morally
Yeah.
regrettable.
It was financially positive. That's true. But just being a real scumbag.
I have actually a very minor one. It was like way back when I was in, I think, just middle school. whenever you didn't finish your homework or something like that, there was this little stamp that the teacher would have that put homework not done. And because I was very lazy, I got that stamp multiple times. So after, weeks of this happening, I stole like 2 different homework not done stamps and then got a piece of notebook paper, stamped that all over it, and then hung it on like the teacher's door as like this kind of warning note.
I imagine like a ransom note, like it's just like stamped.
Well,
in
yeah,
the
it was
looks like
basically
letters.
that. I actually no, I left it on their chair, and then they hung it up like as an example.
I was a little shit to my teachers in school. I was a kid that had to be right. Like, I think once my teacher said that penguins lived at the North Pole, and they went on for about half an hour. But criticizing her, saying, "Oh, miss, how do we know if that's true? If you believe that penguins actually lived in the North Pole," and I got sent out a lot. But the worst one was there was this teacher of anger issues, and I did some snidey remarks. So she got up in my face and started blasting at me for 5 minutes, thinking, "Oh, you think you're so smart, don't you? You think you're so quick-witted. You think..." Just going on and on and on and on and on and on and on. And then I looked her in the eye
I
Oh,
can't wait to hear how this ends.
I looked her in the eye and I said, "Sorry, miss, did you say something?" I wasn't allowed in her lessons anymore. I got moved to a different class.
Oh!
I would have hated you as a teacher.
You would have.
Thankfully, I'm not teaching right now.
I am so lucky in school. I don't know if it's the most shelters. I went to a on-base school, but it was still semi-public school. I've never had like any of the horror stories that I've heard ever, like all this bullying. Like I once had like a couple mean kids say some things in the very like elementary-ish grades. That was it.
Yeah, I don't really got bullied either. I guess because I was kind of big. I got like insulted sometimes and made fun of, but
I got my hair set on fire.
yeah, that's pretty bad, Lucas.
Yeah.
It was at a
I had to
festival.
deal with
Was it-
some bullying because
Did you cross Zach? Like,
He came all the way to the festival and just set my hair on fire.
he's like Liam Neeson from that
There
movie.
will not be a fourth.
My... I was just on the subject of bullying. The worst thing my friends ever done to me is that I had some bad grades, which is the reason why I went to the festival. I was like, get my mind off it, you know? I'm not going anywhere with my life, but I'm with my friends and having a good time, so brilliant. And me and my friend were talking to these 2 girls, and I tried to say something, and he said, "Don't listen to him. He's stupid. He didn't even pass his GCSEs." And I'm like, no?
What?
That story's more sad than funny, but I'm gonna drink some vodka now to try to forget.
oh yeah, like I have Crohn's disease and I was diagnosed when I was 11. So this puts me squarely at the beginning of my 6th grade year. And middle school kids are dicks. Miniature little fucking dicks. So, of course, a lot of the guys, it's a really small town, I've known everybody in my class for years. But now, all of a sudden, I was the weird kid because I had a disease they didn't understand. And it followed me around for a long time. That, and when I was in my small town, both my parents are not from the town.
Oh.
And small towns are weird in that if you're, like, everything looks all, great on the outside, but you live in that town, Jesus, it gets weird with people. Like, people you think you'd be friends with, nope, you're not from here. So even now, like, I'm born and raised in the town, I'm an outsider, kinda to some people, because my parents weren't from the town.
Mm.
It's a whole fucking thing. It's annoying.
You need to be born into it.
I would say it's actually gotten worse since our school was, like, closed. Like, I don't have a high school anymore to go cheer at. Mine's just gone.
You in a cheer uniform.
Oh, like, I mean, I have younger siblings, and, like, my brother didn't get to finish at the school I went to.
Oh, shit.
Which
No.
sucked, because, like, at my school, I did anything and everything. I lettered in 5 sports, I did speech and mock trial and band and choir and all this other stuff, and At a bigger school, you really don't get those opportunities just because it's not an option. However, at a small school, I like small schools. That's why I want to teach in small schools when I get back to teaching eventually. It's because the opportunities are way more awesome.
I grew up in the South. All of elementary school and middle school was in Arkansas and Mississippi. And I was a girl who liked science and video games. So none of these things went with the traditional expectation of that. So I had problems with the other girls in my class because I liked boy things, and I had issues with the boys in my class because I wasn't supposed to like science, and, that was supposed to be icky to me, and I was better at it than them, so that warranted a lot of extra attention. And then I also had, I don't know what the hell it was, we don't know if I had a metabolism issue or whatever. I was so skinny and I could not gain weight, I physically could not gain weight, that I had to buy my jeans at the Kids Gap until I was 16.
Brag about it.
And so at that point then, I've gotten taller, so, the jeans, they fit me around my waist, but they aren't long enough, so now I'm, my jeans are too short, and it was not good. It was really not good at all. So I got picked on all the time, and that didn't really stop until freshman year of high school when I moved to a new school in New Jersey and met a group of girls. We'd gotten just randomly assigned into a project. The three of them were friends. And they're like, "You're new. We're gonna be friends." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." And they all played field hockey and stuff, and they dragged me out to the field hockey team. So then I started playing sports, and then I started doing marching band, and then I ended up being a leader for the marching band. And that's when I got to be loud and obnoxious. And I'm like, "This is kind of fun." And now you guys can't get me to shut up. So that's how that progression happened. Oh, but yeah, but the first 15 years of my life was just pure crap. It was just constantly getting picked on.
Has anyone been accused of bullying while in school?
We had a hazing issue at my school.
Apparently punching someone in the stomach is not acceptable, especially when there's another person sitting up against the wall.
Oh my god!
He said he had sex with my mother. I needed to show him who was in charge. I was like, Ben, grab this punk.
So you were the big dude in the jail yard?
No, I was the small shit, but my friend was big, so I said, Ben, grab this fuck, and he held him up against the wall, and I punched him as I was in the stomach. I think that's what you get.
Oh my God.
I'm gonna deck you in, mate. Swear on
That
me,
is
mum.
in no way how I speak. I'm not from England, sir.
You sounded different as a kid.
I'm not from England,
okay?
sir.
He certainly isn't posh.
I'm not English.
I know that because he punched me in the stomach. I never got into any fist fights as a kid. I don't think I've ever punched anyone.
My friend peed on someone.
I did some
What?
MMA training. That hurt. Broke a few ribs.
I was in Taekwondo for all the way up till just before black belt, but I never actually been in a real fight.
Yeah, I took Krav Maga when I was younger. I've never punched someone, but if someone was made out of those foam pads,
I know this.
Someone was made out of the foam pads. That's probably my favorite part of this entire conversation.
that kind of it sucks. Anyone who's taking martial arts knows when you're new, you're like, oh, I'm kind of the new guy, can't punch for shit. And the teacher was an ex-Marine. He was a really nice guy, but he was like, okay, no problem. We'll we'll pair you up with an advanced. I'm like, oh yeah. He goes, all right, punch the thing. And I go punch. Eh. He's like, all right, here, you hold it. And I hold it. And he goes whoa, falcon punch. I'm like, I had the foam pad on my chest. I'm like, I think my heart stopped. I think I'm dead.
Yeah, those pads don't do a whole lot. That's how we learned to not be afraid of the baseball. Our Pee Wee coach, 3rd grade, had the 8th graders just throw fastballs at us without a glove. We had to have our hands behind our back with the catcher's gear on. Just don't move. Every time you move, it's a push-up. Yeah, my class, we were never afraid of any baseball ever for the rest of our lives, but scared the holy bejesus out of us because there was an 8th grader who could throw 82 miles an hour.
Oh gosh.
Because he put you in front of a firing squad.
Pretty much what it was with that kid. He was 6'3", and everyone was like, "Oh, play football." The only reason he didn't play football and didn't have scouts for that is because he only had one kidney. But geez, God, man, could he throw the baseball?
I had to play rugby.
I still remember being scared as a little 8-year-old. oh my god, I hope I don't die.
So, well, like we said a little bit in the podcast, there had been this massive thing that happened on Rooster Teeth that seemed very sudden. So,
What a
Zelda,
segue.
what exactly happened, and like, can you give us an overall summary of the bullying, just I guess event?
Yeah.
I'll call it.
So what exactly happened itself, the big complaint was that there was a bunch of journals that were popping up about harassment, about people being harassed and seeing people being harassed, but a lot of them were very vague. It's people like, what's going on? So this was not something, we did this stream, with myself, Dimano, who's one of the site admins, Grady, who is, one of the founders of SideQuest, myself, and then James, who's Decision on the website, and he was another one of the PA Guardians with me. And so we all kind of got on to talk about this. And it wasn't to talk about what had happened and, like, to be like, oh, bullying is bad, because everyone, of course bullying's bad. No one ever goes, yay, bullies! Like, that's not what this was about, to be like, oh, you guys this is bad, and you should feel bad, and blah, 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 whatever. But it was kind of a discussion of, why this is coming up over and over again in the Rooster Teeth community. So it's kind of talking about, okay, well, this is coming up over and over again. So this is obviously something that needs to be talked about in some kind of context. So it was kind of a quick talk about what really is harassment, like the difference between harassment and like just somebody and just criticism, because there is a difference between someone saying your work is bad and someone saying that you are bad because you made this work, kind of thing. Like, you suck or your video sucks. And that's a very, like, childish kind of example. Like, oh, boo-hoo, someone said I suck. But that's kind of the thing, to be like, you suck for making this video or your video sucks. Those are, two different things. So it's kind of talking about the difference between just somebody just being, like, stupid and actual harassment. What you can actually do about harassment, so how you can actually block users. A lot of people don't actually know there's a block button. So we talked about where you can find that, how you do the blocking, what the blocking actually means. How you can report stuff if you are really being harassed, and just kind of the whole like community culture surrounding that whole idea of what's going on there. So we did a live stream. It was we went for like an hour and 40 minutes. Yeah. So there is I put a link to it earlier today in a journal. There's a link to the video of the whole stream. But also in that same journal is kind of a short recap of all of kind of the important points that came out of that. So that was kind of that. It seems to, there's been a positive response to it. It's not going to like change anything inherently by itself, and it didn't like solve any grand mysteries, but it was just kind of like there's a lot of information that it just kind of gets lost in the noise of everything, like where the list is of all the admins and mods. A lot of people don't know where that is because it's not in a place that is intuitive. So it's just kind of like, here is where you can actually find stuff, and here's what your options are. No one can do anything if you don't tell them. They have power, but they are not psychic. So anybody who can help has to know that you need help. And by come forward, I mean, actually talk to them in a private message. Do not post a journal and call out a particular user and be like, this guy right here with this name is a motherfucking asshole. Because now you've just added a new layer to the issues. Now people are going to go on a manhunt, and so now this person's going to be harassed. And yes, it's the same problem, but now it doesn't seem so bad because you're doing it in the name of justice, and that doesn't actually help anybody and just makes it worse. So
it's easier to hide behind a semi-anonymity when you're able to just type in a thread like, oh, this is all these things.
I always just came up with snarky comebacks.
You're good at that.
Were you beat up?
Yeah, and that's
me. No,
I mean, it's like, cause I get crap every once in a while too, but it's one of the things I take the snarky approach thing. I have kind of a I have a standard response that I have decided that is my wording that I'm going to use
Go fuck yourself.
for those things.
Yeah.
And, it's much more eloquent than that. And, yeah, so it's like I send that, and if nothing else happens, great. And if I get another message, then I block them. And I had one person who was very persistent and found a way around that, and so then I went to one of the admins, and I know I'm like, hey, so here's some screenshots of the shit that's going on. I've done what I can on my side. I don't think this is, like, cause it escalated, like, it already started off bad, and then it just started getting, a little bit graphic, and I'm like, no, that's it, game over, I'm not doing this, you lose. Yeah, but it's like everyone has kind of a different threshold for what they can and are willing to put up with. I have a higher threshold because I also have a reputation for calling people out on their bullshit, and I think it helps that I have that reputation in front of me, and so people are... nothing is more terrifying than the fear of being publicly shamed on the internet. And it's like, and if...
I don't know. We've gotten into some tussles before, Zelda.
Black holes are pretty powerful.
That's not the same as publicly shaming you on the threads. It's just getting to a tussle.
Yeah, exactly. It's
Yeah.
like, you're being kind of an asshole. Alright, that's not a thing, but it's, if...
Her next journal, Webwave. This guy.
What a dick!
The hand. The
I
hand.
don't know. I've seen it, but I don't know what the fuck it is or why it's there.
Is it by Adam Smith?
So, one of the...
Get it, guys? Because of economics, the invisible hand? Get it? Because of the classical theory of
Laissez-faire
economics?
economics.
Do you get it, guys? Do you get it?
Very cool.
Just
So, I
stop.
do want to touch on this. One of the things I thought was the best points of, like, what happened during the stream was, like, this difference between, like, not being able to, like the one-off comments thing, like, not being able to take criticism type of thing, and thinking that's bullying and harassment. Like, you remember what, Lucilla, what happened on the level 20 thread? Right before everything kind of just went to shit.
Wait, what do we want? I want to make sure I don't say things that I'm not
We
being...
were harping on a guy because he refused to use actual letters in his
And this-
sentences.
What? I do not want to get into the level 20 thing.
All I'm going to say is, it wasn't a personal attack, it was more like, hey, just do something, like,
Yeah.
it wasn't really personal, and then all of a sudden he just goes, fuck you, I hate you, you're like, it's like, no.
Yeah, it's like I'm not saying. So I tried, and whenever I said anything about what was going on in there, I tried to keep it very gentle because it's like my issue is not with you, my issue is with what you are doing, and those are two very different things. And it's like this is if you look at every other goddamn post that's happening right now, everything goes this way. People are using actual like fucking sentences. Like just use a goddamn sentence, please. I don't know what you're saying anymore. Pretend to try. And so then so it's like, this is what's going on. It's like, I never directed, if you wanted to go look at it, I never said anything to that person. I never specifically said this person is an issue. It was just like, here is this general thing of how we have been talking for the last, year and a half that I've been in this forum. And it was talking like this before I got here and all of this stuff. It's like, this is the practice. Just, if you're going to join it, just do that. It's not that hard to use a shift key. And possibly a period every once in a while. And then it got very personal. I was like, all right, well, fuck you guys, you're stupid, and it's like, now it's gone personal, and I just don't want to deal with it anymore. So I stopped. I just stopped.
Quite ironic that the person who's not
And
using
now we have the
English
actual
correctly
comic
is
essay.
calling you stupid.
And that was kind of what really started making me mad too. And it's like, I have not said anything. And that was the other thing too, is that person recognized that they were probably the issue. They repeatedly said that.
Oh,
and it's like, okay, you've called yourself out as the problem, and I'm the one that is being called stupid and a bitch and whatever and all this stuff. And it's just like, I have no interest in this thread anymore if this is how this is gonna go.
And
That
it's
was just
also a
dumb.
trend I saw when I was teaching. Like,
I also want to say
criticizing
the
and
tussle
hate.
that I mentioned with Low Zelda was me taking the opposite side for the lulz.
yeah, that certainly didn't complicate the issue at all.
And this is why I didn't want to get into it, is because
I know, I was trying to get to another point,
That.
and it kind of got
Yeah.
derailed. It was more of like, it's something I say a lot when I'm teaching too, like, you criticize a student for like, well, this is how it's actually done. They're like, well, whatever, you just hate me. Like, it's not, like, they don't understand the difference.
I don't hate you, you're hormones.
And it seemed to be really pervasive, like, mass majority of the students just didn't get it. And these are like 16, 17, 18-year-olds, and nobody taught them the difference.
I don't want to be an adult.
Sometimes I don't either. Money sucks.
Yeah. It's like, it's literally the root of all evil. Like when people say,
I still do.
Lego.
can't I just build like my apartment out of Legos and just live in that so I don't have to pay rent?
You have to pay rent in 50 bricks.
Yeah, have an electrical wire, your house is just gonna melt. It's not gonna burn, it's just gonna melt.
There's thunder and lightning outside, and I'm not terrified. It's 3 in the morning. No. I'm gonna get electrocuted.
Is it too spooky?
Too spooky.
Is it too spooky?
I'm scared to pee outside now in case my dick gets electrified.
I think you should be more. I think you should be more afraid of peeing outside of getting caught by the police
Nah,
than having lightning strike.
I live in the kitchen.
But
on
this
the
is a
bottom.
vodka-induced brain here.
I live in the kitchen on the bottom floor, so there's a massive fence. I can pee wherever I want outside.
Like, you have plumbing in Wales. don't
Yeah.
you?
It's not a podcast until Lucas pees out a window, to be honest.
It's like, I really want to do it now, but I think you guys would shame me for the rest of my life.
I'm gonna shame you anyways. Just
We
thinking about
already
it.
do it on our podcast because you've done it.
Anyway, we've been going for over an hour, so I think it's about time to wrap up.
Yeah, it's time to wrap.
Yeah,
I'd have so many
wrap it
pins
up,
in my
guys.
tail.
Get it? I was giving advice too.
Remember, this anti-bullying talk has been sponsored
And
by
remember-
alcohol.
Get Comcast.
Sponsored by
because
You
they
get
will fuck
fucked
you
up
in the
the
ass,
ass.
and so you won't get pregnant.
Smash
Need something to make the ass pain go away? Drink alcohol.
and PS Vista.
Alrighty, everyone. You know where to find us on Twitter, the forum thread, on Facebook.
Just search for the forum thread on every social media platform you can think of.
And TFT plays.
Yeah.
And TFT
Oh, yeah.
plays. There you go.
Yay.
That'll get you
The
everything.
MySpace page is really doing a great job there.
All thanks to
Yeah,
Terry
I'm more of a
I's
Tinder fan
Terry I's
myself.
7 accounts on Grindr.
Can we make like an OK Cupid?
And look
Page
for
that's
the
just like
future
TFT
fan fiction
podcast?
for TFT.
Yep.
That'll be coming out soon, hopefully.
Alright. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
I'll find you.